Hello students, I am Samruddhi Naseri from Deccan Education Society's Brihan Maharashtra College of Commerce, Pune. I am here to teach you English. Students, you all know that your textbook is divided into 4 sections. Today we are going to take the second section, that is poetry. And in that section there is a poem, Money, by William H. Davis. So students, let's begin with the presentation. So here is section 2, poetry, and in that the sixth poem is Money by William H. Davis. Students, you all know that in your textbook there are some icebreakers in the beginning of each lesson and poem. So let's begin with the icebreakers. Icebreakers are the introduction to the given poem or lesson. So here are some icebreakers in front of you. Discuss in the class about importance of money. One in your textbook, that money is used as capital in business. What are the other importances of money? Others are, it is used to satisfy basic needs. It is required for education. It is essential for healthcare services. So these are the points which are given for the importance of money. So money is important for these things which are given here in the slide. The next point which is discussed in the textbook is how we spend money judiciously. How it is spent judiciously? We can spend it by donating it for the poor and needy. Then we can use it for food and health care. So whenever we use money, then we have to spend it in this way, and if we spend it in this way, then only it is said that it is spent judiciously. Then the third point is housing. If we have to build our own house, that time we use money judiciously, as well as we use money for education. So when we spend our money for these purposes, then it is said that it is spent judiciously. Then the next point is given in the textbook, that make a list of the good qualities of your friend. You can use these points here, that how is your friend, what are his qualities, that your friend is caring, he is very helpful, he is soft spoken, and he is intelligent and a good human being. So these are the qualities of your friend discussed over here. So if you have a good friend, then good friend have all these qualities in him, that he is caring, he is helpful, he is soft spoken, and he is intelligent or a good human being. Then the next point which is asked here, that share your views on money is the root of all evils. Now why this question is asked in the icebreakers? Why the question of qualities of a good friend is asked? Why money spent judiciously is asked? All these questions are related to our poem Money, and that's why these questions are raised over here in the icebreakers. So what is the root of all evils? It is said that money is the root of all evils. It is said that money cannot buy love, health, or emotions. It is true that with money we cannot buy love, we cannot buy our health, or we cannot buy our emotions through it. Money paves way for jealousy. If the other person has more money than us, then it paves jealousy for that person. Love of money is the root of all evils. If we love money more than the humans, then it is the root of all evils. And money breaks good relations. All of you must have experienced all these things, and therefore it is said that money is the root of all evils, because It cannot buy love, health, or emotions. It creates jealousy. It is the root of all evils, and it breaks good relations between the humans. And when all these questions are given in the icebreakers, they have a connection with our own poem, Money, because poet also wants to tell us that how money is not the only thing which man should love, but he should have good friends also with him. So what the poet says about the money that is given here in the poem, and before that we will see the introduction of the poet. The poet of this poem is William H. Davis. He was born in 1871 and died in 1940. He is regarded as Welsh poet and writer. He spent life as a tramp or hobo in the United Kingdom and United States. What is the meaning of tramp or hobo? That means he was a traveler. He used to travel from one place to another. मराठीत ज्याला आपण भटकंती करणे असं म्हणतो. That is the meaning of tramp or hobo. Then he became a peddler and street singer in England. Peddler means he was a street seller. रस्त्यावरचे जे फेरीवाले असतात त्यांना पेडलर असं म्हणतात. So he became a peddler and street singer in England after some time, and then he published his first volume of poems, The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems, after several years of wandering life. So he wandered in the United Kingdom and United States. He became a peddler, he became a street singer, and after wandering to all these places, he had written the first volume of poems, The Soul's Destroyer and Other Poems, after wandering for many years. So this is the information about the poet which we have got here. Now we will see that what exactly is the theme of the poem. So we will see about the poem, that this poem tells us about the rich man who wants to be a poor man to find real happiness. So here the narrator of the poem is a rich man, but he wants to be a poor to find the real happiness, because he thinks that real happiness lies not in being rich but in being poor. We realize the importance of money when we do not have it or when we lose it. So here he tells us the importance of money as well, but he says that we need money which is there to use our basic needs, which is there to satisfy our basic needs, and therefore he is saying that importance of money is there, but when we do not have it or when we lose it, then only we come to know its importance. And at the end in the poem, the poet says that he doesn't have money but has true friends, though they may be few. So in the poem, he wants to tell us that if you want true friendship, then you should not be rich. If you are poor, then only you get true friends, otherwise not. So these are the things given in the poem. Now we will read the actual poem and we will understand that what exactly the poet wants to say through this poem, Money. The poet says in the first stanza that when I had money, money, oh, I knew no joy till I went poor. For many a false man as a friend came knocking all day at my door. In the beginning, he uses this word oh. This oh represents sadness. This oh represents negativity. And he is saying that when I had money, money, oh, I knew no joy till I went poor. That means when he was rich, he didn't understand that what is real happiness. He knew no joy till he went poor. When he became poor, that time only he came to know that what is real happiness. Because he says, for many a false man as a friend came knocking all day at my door. When he was rich at that time, many of people said that they are my true friends, but they were not actually true friends. They were false friends of mine, and all those people came knocking all day at my door. Because I had money, all these people used to come to me and used to spend time with me. But I came to know that real friendship doesn't lie in richness, but it lies in being poor. Then in the second stanza, he says, "Then felt I like a child that holds a trumpet that he must not blow because a man is dead. I dared not speak to let this false world know." So, when he was rich at that time, he is saying that I felt like a child that holds a trumpet. The meaning of trumpet is given here, a brass musical instrument. So, when the child holds a trumpet and when he is not able to play it, he must not blow because a man is dead. I felt like that child when I was rich, that even if when I knew that there are rich and selfish people around me, but I dared not speak to let this false world know this thing, that rich are always selfish. That even if I knew this, I couldn't do this like a child who had trumpet in his hand but couldn't play it just because a man is dead. So this is what is given in the second stanza, that when he was rich, he knew that the friends in front of him are not real, they are false friends. Still he couldn't say this, or he didn't dare to say this, because though he knew that there are rich people in front of him and they are false, still he couldn't say like that. Then in the third stanza, the poet says, "Much have I thought of life and seen how poor men's hearts are ever light, and how their wives do hum like bees about their work from morn till night." So when I was rich, I thought many a times, or I thought a lot of life, and that time I have observed that how poor men's hearts are ever light. They don't have stress at all. They don't have any tensions at all. And when I saw this, when I thought of life, I came to know that poor are always happy, and how their wives do hum like bees about their work from morn till night. The wives of these poor people are very much busy in their lives from morning till night. And though they are busy, they are happy and they hum like bees. They hum like bees means they are happily singing some tune. Just as the bees hum, in the same way, these women also sing happily about their work, and from morning till night they are working on it and still they are happy. So even if they are poor, they are stressless, and even if their wives have a lot of work from morning till night, still they are singing happily and they enjoy their lives, and that shows, this stanza shows happiness among the poor. So when I hear these poor ones laugh and see the rich ones coldly frown, poor men, think I, need not go up so much as rich men should come down. So when the poet has thought of all these poor and the rich people, he is saying that when I hear these poor ones laugh, that means they are living a stress-free life. And when I see the rich ones coldly frown, that means they are living a stressful life and they are not at all happy with their richness. Then I think that poor men need not go up so much as rich men should come down. That means poor should not go to gain money, or they should not go behind money, but rich men should come down, and they should come down from their egos, and they should find real happiness and they, even if they earn less, still they will be happy that this thing they should know. So this is what he thinks of the rich and the poor. And when the writer himself, the poet himself was rich, at that time he observed all these things about the rich and the poor. And then he decided that what exactly he has to do, whether he has to be rich or whether he has to be poor. So he is saying this in the last stanza, that when I had money, money, oh, my many friends proved all untrue. But now I have no money, oh, my friends are real, though very few. You will observe that this O comes thrice in the poem. In the first stanza, when it comes, it shows negativity. In the last stanza, when it comes in the beginning, then that shows nervousness. And when it comes at the end of the poem, that shows happiness. So this word O, this letter O, has a lot of importance in this poem. So in the last stanza, he says, when I had money, money, oh, my many friends proved all untrue. So just because I was rich, there were friends around me, but they were all untrue, they were all false. Just because I had money, they came to me, but now I have no money. Oh, that means I have become poor now, I don't have money at all, and now my friends are real, though very few. So though I have very few friends as I have become poor, but those few friends are real, those few friends are true friends. And I am happy about it, and therefore he tells us in this poem that money only can't buy you happiness. Happiness lies within you, and even if you are poor, but if you are happy within, from within, if you are happy from inside, then money doesn't matter at all. So poor people, he sees, are very happy, but rich people are very stressful, and therefore he says that money can't buy you happiness, but real friends lie in the poor people only. Even if they are few, still if you have real friends, then those friends give you real happiness. So this is what is given in the poem Money. Now we will turn to brainstorming questions which are given in the poem. Money does not mean everything in life. Discuss with your partner and justify the statement by giving examples. Take help of the following points. We will just discuss these points, the examples you can write on your own. The first question is, money cannot give you eternal happiness. Yes, money cannot give you eternal happiness. It gives us temporary happiness. Only love and affection can give us eternal happiness. Then the next question is, art, music and literature can give you unending happiness. Yes, it is true that art and music have the abilities to forget our worries and give us happiness. So these are the things which are given for money does not mean everything in life. The third point which is given in the textbook is money is short-lived. Yes, money is not permanent. Only love and affection are permanent, and money is short-lived. प्रत्येकाजवळ मनी आयुष्यभर राहीलच पैसा असं नाही, तर तो खूप कमी वेळ असतो. इट इज नॉट परमनंट. मनी कॅनॉट परचेस हॅपीनेस अँड कंटेंटमेंट. हॅपीनेस अँड कंटेंटमेंट कॅन बी गेन्ड बाय शिअर लव्ह अँड अफेक्शन. जर आपल्याला आनंद हवा असेल आयुष्यात, सॅटिस्फॅक्शन हवं असेल, तर मनीमुळे, पैशामुळे ते मिळणार नाही. दॅट विल बी गेन्ड ओनली बाय लव्ह अँड अफेक्शन. Then the next question is about true and false. State whether the following statements are true or false, and you have to correct the false statements with the help of the poem. The first point is, the poet knew no joy till he was rich. It is false. The poet knew no joy till he was poor. The poet felt that he should talk about his poverty. It is true, because he told that when he was poor, then only he got true friends in life. The third point is, when poet had money, he had many true friends. It is false. When poet had money, he had many untrue friends. In this way, you are supposed to write the false statements which you have to make it correct. When poet became poor, he had a few real friends. It is true. In the last line of the poem, it is given that when he was poor, he had few real friends. It is true. The next question is, write reasons for the following statements. What are the statements given here? That friends came knocking all day at the poet's door. Why they came knocking? Because the poet had money and his friends were selfish. Next point is, poor men's wives hum like bees. Why they hum like bees? Because they are happy and their relations are true. Next question is, money makes the world go round. Explain it in the light of the poet's experience. That money makes the world go round. What is the meaning of this line and how we have to explain it? We have to explain it in this way, that poet thinks that money is necessary for our livelihood, but for real and true relations, money is not necessary. इथे कवीला हेच सांगायचं आहे की पैसा आवश्यक आहे, पण तो कशासाठी? आपल्या गरजा पुरवण्यासाठी. पण जर आपल्याला चांगले रिलेशन्स, खरे रिलेशन्स हवे असतील, खरे मित्र हवे असतील, तर पैसा आवश्यक नाही. हेच त्यांना सांगायचं आहे. आणि याचा अर्थ हाच आहे, मनी मेक्स द वर्ल्ड गो राउंड, बट मनी इज नॉट नेसेसरी फॉर रियल अँड ट्रू रिलेशन्स. The next question asked over here is about vocabulary. Find out meanings of the phrases given below and use them in your own sentences. I have just written the meanings of these sentences. You have to make your own sentences for these words. Be in the money. The meaning of this phrase is to become rich. Second is win lots of money. The meaning is to get money luckily. Third, for my money, the meaning is compensation of money. Fourth, money for old rope, the meaning is money earned for little effort. And fifth, put one's money where one's mouth is, to do the things in support of what we say. So these are the meanings of these phrases. Now you have to form your own sentences by using these meanings of the phrases. Now, if you see your textbook, there is a crossword given, and you have to write the meanings of those words from the clues which are given from the poem. Across words are given first. The first word is given, a brass musical instrument. The word which fits over there is trumpet. Second is a low, steady, continuous sound. Word hum is given. Third, false, for that untrue word is used in the poem. Fourth, say something, for that word speak is used in the poem. For down words, fifth word is not imaginary. The word which is given in the poem is real. For ponder, the word which is given is think. For stinging insect, the word given is bees. For in large number, the word given is many. And for strike a noisy surface, the word given is knock. So if you write these words in that crossword, then all these words are given in the poem and you can use it in that crossword. Now the table is given for poetic devices, that is for figures of speech. Inversion, simile, repetition, these figures are given. Then you have to write the line of the poem for each of these figures, and you have to explain that why that figure is used for that particular word. Why that figure is used, you have to give the explanation of it. For inversion, the line of the poem is, then felt I like a child. Why this line is used for inversion? because the word order is not proper, it is inversed. Then for simile, the example given in the poem is, and how their wives do hum like bees. Here, the direct comparison between singing of wives and humming of bees is given, therefore it is simile. Then for repetition, when I had money, money, oh, word money is repeated in this line and therefore it is repetition. Then fourth is onomatopoeia. For that, the example which is given in the text is, and how their wives do hum like bees. Here, humming sound is described through word and that we call as onomatopoeia. And last is given as antithesis. For that, the example given in the poem is, poor ones laugh, rich ones frown. Here, why this is antithesis? Because opposite words are used in the same line. Opposite words like laugh and frown are used and therefore we can say this is the example of antithesis. Now, the next part is identify the rhyme scheme of all the stanzas of the poem. You will see that there are 5 stanzas. For first 4 stanzas, the rhyme scheme used is A, B, C, B, and for the 5th stanza, it is A, B, A, B. So you will find out this rhyme scheme is used in the poem. The next question is for you, that compose a short poem on friendship. You have to write 4 lines on friendship and you have to write a short poem on your own. So friends, you can do it very well, that you just have to compose a short poem on friendship. Whoever is your best friend, you can write 4 lines on him. And the last question here is, write an appreciation of the poem. Students, you all know that for appreciation, which points you have to include, that you have to write about the poem, the poet, the title. You have to write about the theme of the poem. You have to write about the poetic style. You have to write about the poetic devices used in the poem. And lastly, you have to write your own opinion on the poem. So as we have read the poem, you must have understood that what the poem is about, what is the theme of the poem, and what exactly the poet wants to say through this poem. So all these things we have studied today about the poem Money. So students, today we have learned the poem Money by William H. Davis. In the beginning, we have seen the icebreakers, which is called as the introduction of the poem. Then we have seen about the poet William H. Davis. His introduction we have seen. Then we have read the actual poem and its explanation is done. Later on, we have discussed some brainstorming questions from the textbook, and from these things, I think that you have understood the poem very well. So students, read the poem once again at home to understand it better and keep practicing and keep reading the textbook. Thank you.